Foods that prevent stroke and heart attack in older adults. These 8 nutrients could save your life. Did you know that right in your own kitchen there are familiar foods that hold an extraordinary power to silently protect both your heart and your brain, significantly reducing the risk of stroke and heart attack after the age of 65? Most of us are unaware of this, and it's not your fault. When discussing cardiovascular diseases in older adults, the focus typically revolves around medications, high blood pressure figures, or negative habits like smoking. But another powerful weapon is often overlooked: nutrition itself. This is not a call for restrictive diets or luxurious supplements. We are talking about simple, familiar nutrients in a balanced diet, scientifically proven to keep your vascular system supple, your blood pressure within a safe range, your heart working resiliently, and your brain sharp as you age. The truth is, after age 65, the body's mechanism for absorbing nutrients is no longer as effective. Your arteries, including the coronary arteries that feed the heart and the carotid arteries that supply the brain, may have lost their elasticity. The heart and brain also become more sensitive to inflammation. It is precisely these small imbalances in your diet, things you might not even notice, that silently increase the risk for both of these serious cardiovascular events without any warning. But the good news is, by understanding a few key nutrients and making small yet practical adjustments to your daily meals, you can dramatically lower this risk. In fact, studies show that older adults who adopt a conscious diet to protect their cardiovascular health can reduce their risk of disease by 30 to 50% over time. In this article, I will take you on a deep dive into 8 of the most powerful nutrients for preventing stroke and heart attack after age 65. You will understand how they work in the body, where to find them in foods, and how to turn this knowledge into delicious heart and brain-friendly meals. This is not about fear, it's about giving you control. Because preventing cardiovascular disease isn't a single monumental decision, but a series of small, smart choices made every day on every plate. Let's begin with the first nutrient, an indispensable ally for cardiovascular health: omega-3 fatty acids. Let's begin our nutritional journey with an all-powerful ally, a golden fat for both the heart and the brain: omega-3 fatty acids. Our bodies cannot produce this special type of fat on their own, so supplementing them through food is of utmost importance. This is one of the first and most crucial answers to the question of how to prevent heart attack and stroke. So, what does science say about the role of omega-3s concerning the risk of a heart attack versus stroke? First and foremost, omega-3s act as a powerful anti-inflammatory agent, helping to soothe low-grade chronic inflammation, a silent enemy that damages the inner lining of the arteries. This process creates the conditions for plaque to form and grow, hardening and narrowing the blood vessels from the coronary arteries that feed the heart to the arteries leading to the brain. It doesn't stop there. Omega-3s also work to naturally reduce the stickiness of the blood. This is extremely important because most heart attacks and ischemic strokes occur when a blood clot suddenly forms, blocking blood flow, causing chest pain or severe brain damage. Furthermore, the role of omega-3s extends to stabilizing the heart's electrical system, helping to reduce the risk of dangerous arrhythmias that can lead to sudden cardiac arrest. The American Heart Association also highlights their ability to lower triglyceride levels, a type of fat in the blood that contributes to an increased risk of heart disease. So, how can you add this golden fat to your diet? The most abundant and best natural sources are fatty fish, like wild salmon, mackerel, herring, and sardines, with a goal of 2 servings per week. If you don't eat fish, plant-based options include chia seeds ground, flax seeds, and walnuts. However, it is important to note that the body needs to convert these into a more effective form of omega-3, a process that can decline with age. A simple meal tip is to start your day with a bowl of Greek yogurt, adding a spoonful of chia seeds and a handful of walnuts. However, be aware of a common mistake: deep frying fish. This not only destroys the precious fatty acids, but also creates harmful fats. In summary, ensuring an adequate intake of omega-3s is a foundational strategy for protecting cardiovascular health. This is especially significant given that heart attack symptoms in women can sometimes be more vague and harder to recognize than in men, making proactive prevention all the more essential. Let's continue with a silent hero in the fight for comprehensive cardiovascular health: soluble fiber. When you hear fiber, you might only think of digestive function, but its role is much more profound, especially when it comes to preventing cardiovascular events after age 65. This is a simple yet effective answer to the question of how can we prevent heart attack. When it enters the body, soluble fiber dissolves in water and forms a special gel-like substance. This gel performs a multifaceted task. First, it acts like a magnet, binding to LDL, the bad cholesterol molecules in the intestines, and escorting them out of the body before they have a chance to accumulate as dangerous plaque in the coronary or cerebral arteries. Controlling LDL is tackling one of the leading causes of heart attack. Next, it slows down digestion, which helps stabilize blood sugar, thereby reducing stress and damage to the blood vessel walls, a contributing factor to the risk of high blood pressure and heart attack. Finally, soluble fiber is a precious food source for a healthy gut microbiome. These beneficial bacteria produce compounds that help reduce systemic inflammation and even contribute to regulating blood pressure, offering a dual benefit for both the heart and the brain. Fortunately, you don't have to look far. The best sources of soluble fiber include oats, apples, especially with the skin on carrots, sweet potatoes, beans and lentils such as black beans and chickpeas, along with chia seeds and flax seeds. Try a heart-healthy breakfast ritual: a bowl of oatmeal cooked with chopped apple and a spoonful of ground flax seeds sprinkled with a little cinnamon and a few walnuts. This meal not only provides soluble fiber, but also antioxidants and omega-3s. An important note for those not accustomed to eating a lot of fiber is to increase your intake slowly and drink plenty of water to avoid bloating. But remember, adding even just a few grams of fiber per day has been shown to significantly reduce the risk of cardiovascular disease. It doesn't just help your digestive system, it is also actively cleaning your arteries and protecting you from the early warning signs of a future heart attack. As you age, one of the most silent yet dangerous threats to cardiovascular health is high blood pressure. It is nicknamed the silent killer. For a good reason, you may not feel any symptoms, but over time, this constant pressure silently damages and weakens the artery walls, significantly increasing the risk of both heart attack and stroke. This is where the essential mineral duo magnesium and potassium step in, acting as the body's internal peacekeepers. They work in concert to perform a dual mission. Magnesium plays a role in over 300 biochemical reactions, including helping the muscles in the blood vessel walls to relax, preventing them from constricting excessively, and increasing pressure on blood flow. It also helps balance calcium within cells, preventing unwanted blood vessel spasms. Meanwhile, potassium directly helps the body excrete excess sodium salt through uremia, primary factor in what causes a heart attack related to the modern diet. Consuming high sodium and low potassium is a dangerous combination, creating a perfect environment for high blood pressure and heart attack. By reversing this ratio, you take an extremely important step in protecting your cardiovascular system. Numerous studies have shown that magnesium deficiency is linked to a higher risk of high blood pressure and heart arrhythmias. Similarly, a potassium-rich diet can significantly reduce systolic blood pressure, thereby lowering the overall risk of cardiovascular events. To get enough of this mineral duo, you don't need to reach for pills right away. Focus on the right foods. Dark leafy greens like spinach and kale nuts, like pumpkin seeds and almonds, along with avocados and bananas, are excellent sources of magnesium. Meanwhile, sweet potatoes, bananas, beets, beans, and potatoes with the skin on are rich in potassium. A little tip is to try a warm bowl of mashed sweet potato sprinkled with a little cinnamon and a few almonds. This is a dish that is not only delicious, but also extremely good for regulating blood pressure. In summary, magnesium and potassium may not be glamorous, but they are foundational. They keep your blood vessels relaxed, your heart beating steadily, and protect you from the silent pressure that builds with age, one of the causes of a heart attack that you can absolutely control through nutrition. If you've ever heard the advice to eat the rainbow, Kyle, that is an invitation to boost your intake of antioxidants, the vibrant compounds in fruits, vegetables, and tea that help protect your body's cells. But their role extends beyond just fighting skin aging. They are an essential shield in preventing heart attacks and strokes, especially as the body's natural defense system begins to decline with age. Our bodies are constantly under attack from unstable molecules called free radicals, generated from stress pollution and even our own digestive processes. Over time, these free radicals cause oxidative stress, damaging the delicate inner lining of the artery walls. This injury is precisely where LDL, the bad, cholesterol easily attaches and initiates the process of atherosclerotic plaque formation. Antioxidants act as a protective army, patrolling and neutralizing these free radicals before they can cause harm. By keeping the blood vessel walls clean, elastic, and free from inflammation, they directly reduce one of the main causes of a heart attack. Research shows that people with higher blood levels of antioxidants have a significantly lower risk of cardiovascular diseases. In particular, vitamin C is a crucial antioxidant that helps the body produce collagen, a protein that acts like cement to keep arteries and capillaries strong, reducing the risk of rupture. Meanwhile, flavonoid compounds found in green tea, dark chocolate, and berries help improve blood circulation and support the function of the vessel walls. Fortunately, this protective army is present in many colorful foods. Think of berries like blueberries and strawberries, dark leafy greens like spinach, deep red beets, bell peppers in all their yellow, red, and orange colors, and turmeric with its powerful anti-inflammatory compound curcumin. A cup of green tea in the morning, a few squares of dark chocolate, 70% cocoa or higher. As a snack or seasoning your dishes with spices like cinnamon and cloves are all excellent ways to strengthen your antioxidant shield. This is one of the most effective and delicious strategies for dealing with the early signs and symptoms of a heart attack by tackling the problem at its root. Many older adults are advised to supplement with calcium to maintain bone health. But there is a crucial part of the story that is often missed. Calcium is only truly beneficial when it goes to the right place. Otherwise, it can go astray and become part of the problem, contributing to one of what are the causes of a heart attack, arterial calcification. This is where vitamin K2, a little-known hero, steps in and acts as an intelligent traffic coordinator. Imagine calcium as a diligent construction worker. Without a guide, it can wander off and accumulate in unwanted places like the walls of the heart's coronary arteries or the blood vessels of the brain. This accumulation, called arterial calcification, makes the blood vessels become hard and brittle, like an old pipe increasing blood pressure and obstructing blood flow. Vitamin K2 activates a special protein called matrix GLA protein MGP, whose job is to command calcium to enter bones and teeth while preventing it from depositing in soft tissues like the blood vessel walls. By ensuring calcium is used for its intended purpose, vitamin K2 directly helps maintain the flexibility and elasticity of the arterial system, a vital factor in preventing cardiovascular diseases. Many large studies have shown a strong link between adequate vitamin K2 intake and a reduced risk of coronary artery disease. This is especially important after age 65, when the body's calcium regulation becomes less efficient and the risk of arterial calcification increases. Unlike vitamin K1, which is abundant in leafy greens, vitamin K2 is found in more specific foods often fermented or of animal origin. The best sources include natto, a Japanese fermented soybean dish, hard and aged cheeses like Gouda and Brie, egg yolks from free-range chickens, animal liver and butter from grass-fed cows. Although some of these foods may not be very common, adding a little aged cheese to a dish or choosing free-range eggs is already a positive step. In summary, vitamin K2 may be small, but its role is immense in keeping your arteries clean and flexible. It ensures that your efforts to strengthen your bones do not inadvertently harm your heart, helping you address two critical health issues of old age simultaneously. Now, let's talk about a vitamin that is often overlooked, but could be the silent key to protecting your nervous system and cardiovascular health, especially when its deficiency signs can be mistaken for the very health problems we are trying to prevent: vitamin B12. After the age of 60, the body's ability to absorb B12 from food declines significantly, making deficiency alarmingly common. Vitamin B12 plays a vital role in producing healthy red blood cells, the carriers of oxygen to every cell, including the heart muscle and the brain. It also acts as the maintenance worker for the insulating sheath that surrounds nerve fibers, ensuring signals are transmitted accurately. However, one of its most important roles is controlling homocysteine. Think of homocysteine as a waste product of protein metabolism. When its levels get too high, it becomes one of the formidable causes of heart attack by damaging artery walls, promoting inflammation and facilitating the formation of blood clots. What is concerning is that the early symptoms of B12 deficiency, such as fatigue, a tingling sensation, forgetfulness, or difficulty with balance, can be very vague and easily ignored or attributed to old age. They can even resemble the early warning signs of a heart attack or the after effects of a small stroke. Maintaining adequate B12, therefore, is an indispensable part of the strategy for how to prevent heart attack at a cellular level. Vitamin B12 is only found naturally in animal products like liver eggs, milk fish, and meat. If you are a vegetarian, are older, or are taking certain medications, checking your B12 levels and considering supplementation in sublingual or injectable forms to bypass the digestive system may be a wise decision after consulting with your doctor. Finally, let's explore a group of compounds that you may be enjoying daily without even realizing it: flavonoids. You may not be familiar with this term, but you have certainly consumed them through a fragrant cup of tea, a piece of slightly bitter dark chocolate, or sweet berries. These powerful plant compounds are nature's answer to the question of how can we prevent heart attack deliciously. Flavonoids work on multiple fronts. They are both antioxidants and anti-inflammatories, but most importantly for cardiovascular health, they are talented managers of the circulatory system. They help persuade blood vessels to relax and widen, improving circulation and directly helping to control blood pressure and heart attack. At the same time, they also reduce the stickiness of platelets in the blood, preventing them from clumping together to form dangerous blood clots that can block a coronary artery. The final event that causes a heart attack. By improving the health of the inner lining of the arteries, endothelial function flavonoids keep your blood-carrying pipelines smooth and flexible. Numerous large studies, including those from Harvard University, have shown that people with a flavonoid-rich diet have a significantly lower risk of cardiovascular disease. The good news is that they are everywhere, in dark-colored berries, green and black tea apples, with the skin on onions, kale, and especially dark chocolate with a cocoa content of 70% or higher. Incorporating these foods into your daily diet not only brings joy to your taste buds, but is also a smart strategy to protect your heart and brain from hidden dangers. Now is the time to turn knowledge into concrete action to minimize the risk of heart attack and stroke simply through smart daily food choices. Start your day with a heart-boosting smoothie including oats, chia seeds, blueberries, a banana spinach, and almond milk or Greek yogurt. This smoothie provides fiber omega-3s, antioxidants, potassium, and magnesium. Enjoy it with a cup of green tea to add flavonoids, helping to improve blood circulation right from the start of the day. For lunch, opt for a large salad with greens, chickpeas, tomatoes, carrots, and a hard-boiled egg dressed with olive oil. Lemon juice and a pinch of turmeric powder for its anti-inflammatory properties. Pair it with a slice of whole grain bread with mashed avocado to add more healthy fats and potassium. An afternoon snack of dark chocolate and a few walnuts will provide flavonoids and omega-3s. When dinner arrives, build your plate around steamed or roasted vegetables like broccoli and beets combined with a portion of omega-3 rich salmon or a lentil stew served with sweet potato or quinoa. You can add a small slice of hard cheese to supplement with vitamin K2 and end the day with a relaxing cup of chamomile tea before bed. If needed, consider supplementing with vitamin B12 under your doctor's guidance. In summary, each nutrient plays a key role. Omega-3s reduce inflammation and the risk of blood clots. Fiber lowers cholesterol. Magnesium and potassium help regulate blood pressure and heart rhythm. Antioxidants protect the artery walls. Vitamin K2 prevents arterial calcification. Vitamin B12 reduces homocysteine levels, and flavonoids improve blood circulation. Preventing heart attack and stroke is not a complex or daunting process. It is built from small, consistent choices made each day, which together create a strong shield to protect your heart and brain, leading to a longer, healthier life. If today you start with just one change, whether it's the morning smoothie or replacing salt with herbs and spices, you have already begun to strengthen your defense system. If you found this guide helpful, please share it with your loved ones because this knowledge could truly save a life.